Thinking about moving to Spain, you need to know what to get right and make sure you avoid these mistakes: overpriced rentals, taxes, wrong visa applications. Welcome to the ultimate moving to Spain guide. So in today's video, we're going to be chapterizing the most important parts of the process. These are the 5 things you need to know when relocating to Spain. Starting with number 1, visas, the different kinds and the ones that you need to come and live in Spain. 2, finance and budgeting. 3, locations, the differences, everything you need to know about the different areas of the coast, the city life, nature. 4, healthcare, the different types, public, private, the questions that people don't really have the answers to, and I'm going to be explaining to them as a Spaniard and as a local. And lastly, 5, housing, rentals, sales, what you need to look out for when you rent a property, how to find a property when it comes to buying a property, the tips and tricks as a first-time buyer, and the things that you will want to know before you make that commitment. All of these 5 chapters are going to make you an expert, so stay along until the last one so you get a perfect idea before you jump on that plane. Are you guys ready? Let's go. So let's start with the most important one, moving to Spain legally. How do you do that and the kind of visas? The quick answer is, if you're from the EU, congratulations, it's super straightforward. We're going to be talking about the case in which you're not an EU citizen, you're outside the EU, or your partner is outside the EU. In these cases, you need a visa permit to live in Spain legally, and we're going to cover what those are. There's mainly 2. There are many other visas, by the way, but these are the most common type of visas for relocators or people that are coming to work in Spain. And by the way, if you want a full video breakdown of all the different types of visas, we recently did a video with Marta Fernandez on the YouTube channel that explains all the different kinds that are currently available. But in this video, because it would be too long, we're going to be covering the 2 main option. Let's go with the first one. The Digital Nomad Visa has made headlines in the last years because it's a super popular one. With the rise of exactly that, digital nomads, people that can work essentially from anywhere with their online businesses or can work remotely from anywhere in the world, this visa is perfect. It's for those freelancers or employees that work for companies which are non-Spanish and where 80% of that business happens outside Spain. But there are some requirements, and these are the requirements. To have a minimum income of 33,000 euros if it's one person. If it's a couple, around 45,000 euros. If it's more than a couple with children, for example, it's 50% of that per dependent. Now let's talk about what you need in order to apply. So first of all, you'll need a valid passport. You'll need to prove the work and the contract you have to work remotely, if that's freelance or self-employed with the company that employs you. And then after that, the proof of qualifications. It will be paramount to have a criminal background check where you show that you have no criminal records in the country that you come from. And then apart from that, you're going to have to prove to the Spanish authorities that you have a full health insurance that covers everything with no copays. And that's really important. A copay payment insurance will not work. It needs to be 100% copay free. And it goes without saying, it needs to be valid in Spain. And lastly, you have proof of income. You're gonna have to prove to the Spanish authorities the income you have privately as yourself, as a couple or a family unit, to make sure that you comply with the minimal thresholds in order to be eligible for a digital nomad visa. So option 1, apply from your home country. You can approach a Spanish consulate and you're able to process the entire visa application from there. You'll get a 1-year visa, which will be renewable. Or option number 2 is you can come to Spain and apply from within Spain. This is actually a very popular way of doing it because sometimes it can be faster. The most important thing is that it's not just for you, it's for you and your family unit. So if you are a family, the Digital Nomad Visa would apply to yourself as the main applicant, but it will also apply for your whole family. All right, so it's time to talk about the second most important visa, and this one is the NLV, Non-Lucrative Visa. It actually implies, what it says in its title. It's the visa that you'll need in order to come to Spain and not work in Spain. So you need to basically prove to the Spanish authorities that you don't need to work and that you can survive on your own means, your own income, which we're going to be talking about in a moment. This is a very popular visa application for relocators and especially retirees that, you might have a few rental properties in your home country, you have investments that are paying you dividends or paying you income. You don't actually have an income from work. It comes from businesses or your investments, as we said earlier. And in that case, NLV is perfect. You need to prove to the Spanish authorities that you have enough income to live in Spain without needing to work. and they are a threshold. So in the case of one person, it's 30,000 euros per person, and then for the second person, 36,000 euros. Now, it's really important that you are able to prove that the income source is from an investment, rental properties, and does not come from a work activity. This is going to be paramount in this kind of application. Now, let's talk about how you apply for it. It's a very straightforward application, and it's not that long of a process. I know a lot of you which are watching this video have maybe already applied for an NLV, and I'll be very interested to hear your comments in the section below, how your process was and how the journey was, because it's pretty straightforward as far as I hear it from our clients. So what you need is obviously a valid passport copy. This is going to be super important. Step number one. So you're also going to have a proof of income, the proof of income that shows what we just discussed, which is that you can live on your own accord, you can live without having to work. Then you're going to have to come up with a certificate that shows that you have no criminal record. So a criminal record certificate shows that in your home country, you've never engaged in any criminal activities. And then after that, you're going to have to come up with a health insurance. You need to prove to the Spanish authorities that you have a private health insurance with no co-pays like before, which means that your health needs will be covered on your own accord and your own costs. And finally, another requirement will be a medical certificate to say that you're healthy, that you're fit, and if you have any conditions, I'll have to mention it on that application. Okay, so that's the NLV visa in a nutshell, but how do you actually apply for it? Well, it's actually quite straightforward. You cannot apply from it within Spain. You need to apply from it from your whole home country within the consulate. This application will normally give you a 1-year renewable, and what people tend to do is at the end of that 1 year, you're able to renew the NLV, or you can ask for another visa. For example, if you wanted to work in Spain, you can try to change that type of visa into a working visa or a digital nomad visa or whatever other visa that you think is more in line with what you need. So who is this visa for? It's for the relocators, it's for the retirees, it's for different kind of profiles. It's a very straightforward visa to apply for. The only thing you need to keep in mind is the feedback we have from different clients from different nationalities is that different consulates have different times. So for example, we've heard that the US, in some states it's quite fast and in others it's quite slow. So it really depends where you are in the world. The consulate might have a big impact on how quick your NLV visa is processed.